All right. 31 days is a long time to be away from home.
Yes.
I'm not going to bury the lead. It's time for some love. Let's get your brother out here. Eric, come on out. Kara, the thing about a brother-sister relationship, one of you's not the parent. It's a really unique dynamic in the family.
But that's just... what? Ladies and gents, internet, my name is Peridiam, and the family visit reward, the loved ones challenge we just saw a clip of, is a staple in Survivor, occurring on nearly every season of the series since its inception. It's always one of the rawest moments of the seasons. The players almost become different people when their family are introduced as a reward for making it far into the game. Love is a powerful motivator, and after you've spent a month dirty, hungry, sleep deprived, exhausted, paranoid, and just living out an experience unlike any other, it's kind of nice to have someone you know show up and give you a hug. It's gonna be okay. Well, maybe not for all of you.
What happens to the rest of them?
They will be taken and executed, as with any good challenge.
Here's the deal. I asked myself a simple question. Is winning the loved ones challenge a good idea? Is it a good idea or a bad idea for your game? With over 2 decades of data to sift through, I figured I would get to the bottom of it and find out once and for all. And spoiler alert, go figure. The answer might shock you. Because let's face it, losing love is difficult to stomach. Losing what might be a once-in-a-lifetime experience to have your family member on the island with you, living with you for a day, or just having a meal and a chance to talk, that's a bitter pill to swallow. Toward the end of every season, this loved ones challenge is presented, and usually as a reward, the winner of the challenge gets to spend time with their loved one. Likewise, they often get to bring other players with them on the reward. They delegate who gets love and who doesn't, whose family members get to be in the season and make some incredible memories versus those who have to take a long flight back home to the States in disappointment. Without a doubt, the family reward is the most critical reward you can win, and after many seasons went by, the Survivor community at large, the people who like to watch the show and talk about it, including yours truly, noticed that it was seemingly a double-edged sword. Yes, you get love. You get happy times. But then at least half the rest of the cast doesn't. And they ain't happy about that. It hits deeper than a Pringles can at Jellyfish Lake, and you better believe some players have taken it personally when all's said and done.
Kelly choosing who to come with her on reward was like these tiny little shanks to the heart, one by one by one. How do you guys feel about us in final 3?
All right,
Like,
I'm down with that. Deal
yeah.
for all 3.
I'm in.
All right, I'm in.
Absolutely.
The stigma around this reward is that it can, and oftentimes does, have serious implications for a player's game. Many players have been voted out right after winning this reward, 7 of them to be exact, and so the meta of the game eventually evolved to where it became recommended for players to be cautious about winning this challenge. Kind of like walking through a minefield, tread carefully. Your game could get blown up. But while yes, 7 people have been voted out right after winning this reward, that doesn't tell us the full picture, far from it. So, after many, many hours, here is, to the best of my knowledge thus far, the full picture. Here is where those minds are buried.
To make it interesting, choose one survivor and their loved ones to come along with you.
Parvati.
All right, one more survivor.
Sandra!
Sandra and Fernando.
Throwing out a terrible strategic move, all 3 girls. Good thing I got rid of Danielle last night, partner.
You damn straight.
Across 40 seasons of Survivor, a family reward has occurred 39 times. Several seasons featured more than one, involving just a videotape and then a family member on location, while others didn't have any at all. On the flip side, some seasons went so far as to give the entire remaining cast their family as a freebie, such as in season 28 Cagayan or season 40 Winners at War. No challenge, no deliberation, just pure love across the board. Aww. So I disregarded those seasons. This then meant that in total, 41 players have won the family reward, as we saw several seasons such as David Goliath or Island of the Idols involve team challenges where multiple people won it instead of just one person. Now, as we talked about, 7 of those 41 people were voted out of the game at the very next tribal council: Greg, Judd, Alexis, Kat, Brenda, and Ron. However, it needs to be said, and this will be said a lot in this video, context is important because in the case of Mike on Redemption Island or Ozzy on South Pacific, Both of those players were already voted out when they won this reward, so there's no way they could have been voted out at the next tribal council anyway, so removing them from the total, it's 7 in 39, or 18%. Also, I do want to quickly give a tangent and say that there was a particular statistic I calculated where some players didn't know that they were going to be winning the family reward, and then they went on to win it anyway, such as Greg and Palau. But I decided to just stop splitting hairs and include him in this category.
Hey guys, I'm so sorry, and we'll pay you back.
Oh no, we'll pay you back.
13th person voted out of Survivor, Palau, and the 4th member of our jury, Greg.
You guys are good.
So, say I were to win this reward, there's an 18% chance I would go next. But then, what are the odds that I would go next anyway regardless? Well, to find that out, I looked at when the average family reward happens by finding the average across all seasons. We saw the earliest family reward happen on Winners at War at the final 10, while we saw the latest occur in the Australian Outback and Cagayan at the final 4. To basically give you guys the big picture, over 41% of the time, the family reward has occurred at the final 6, while 23% of the time it's at the final 7. Those are the top 2, and on average across every season, the family reward usually happens between them, which then means that the odds of you getting voted out at the average family reward tribal council is around 15%. So that tells me that by winning the family reward, historically speaking, you increase your chance of getting voted out at the next tribal council by 3%. A small margin, but still, it's something to consider. Your odds of getting voted out do increase. But what about surviving beyond just that first tribal council? Do players who win the reward become marked targets until the end of the game? If I'm thinking about it, they probably don't survive that many more, right? Well, to figure this out, I still removed Cagayan and Winners at War, but I added in South Pacific because Ozzy won the reward and re-entered the game at the final 5. And what I found is that in total, 140 tribal councils were attended by players who won the family reward across the series. And of those 140 tribal councils, they survived 106 of them, which is about 76% of the time. In other words, on average, whoever wins the family reward tends to survive about 3 in 4 tribal councils, and depending on if they're on a season with a final 3 or a final 2, that could be enough to reach the end. Given the average family reward is at the final 6 or 7, 3 tribal councils away is right at the cusp of pleading your case to the jury.
You're in charge of love. You're going back to camp.
And can we bring a friend?
And you're gonna bring a friend.
Ryan and Steve. Poor Ben picked the wrong time to pick a fight with me because he did not get to see his sweet Kelly. And now I'm gonna make sure that he regrets that he ever crossed me.
Okay, so that's not looking too shabby for Camp Win the Family Reward. But I'd be curious to know how many of these players survive tribal councils without wearing the immunity necklace. You know, totally exposed and actually eligible to be voted out. Like they still have their marked target and they can actually now be voted for. Well, I figured that out too, and it turns out players who win this reward tend to win a decent number of challenges. What can you say? It's in their blood. Instead of 140 tribals, there were now 95 tribals total where these players didn't have immunity. And of those 95, they survived 75 of them, which is about 74%, only 2% less than if they were wearing the immunity necklace, which is negligible. If anything, it's kind of telling me the opposite of what I was expecting going into this video. Is winning the family reward not actually that big of a deal? 6 winners have won the family reward: Tina, Brian, Bob, Mike, Nick, and Tommy, about 14.6% of that initial 41 that we talked about at the beginning of the video. And because the odds of you winning the game at the time of the average family reward is 15.2%, ultimately what I'm seeing is that the family reward hasn't skewed the results almost at all. If you were to win it, the odds of you getting voted out sooner does increase by a few percent, and the odds of you winning the whole game does decrease by less than 1%, but when it comes down to sharing an experience of a lifetime with your loved one, perhaps sparing a few percentage points is worth it.
There's something that I wanted to show you. Hang on.
Show me what?
Unless you're a min-maxer. I think that's the tragedy of winning the loved ones reward challenge in Survivor, that the perception of it being incredibly dangerous for your game often dictates our reality. But in this case, it really shouldn't, because the stats nor the history are there to back that stigma up. I even went and isolated the data just looking at modern Survivor from season 33 onwards to figure out how this can relate to upcoming seasons based on recent trends. And it turns out the average family reward is now earlier. It's at the final 8. And you have an even wider discrepancy between winning the game and not if you win the family reward. Basically, if you win it in Modern Survivor, you're more likely to go further in the game. It's even less risky now than before, which means if you get to play Survivor, go win it. Have fun. Make some memories. I think winning this reward carries as much risk as anything else you might win in the season. And while 2/3 of all family rewards have been shareable and involve picking people to join you and a third haven't, it's really not the end of the world if you do have to share it with other people, and it probably won't have much of an effect on your game. Just don't forget to be considerate if you do get to pick people. Try not to go back on your promises. The devil's in the details, and you may awaken that small percentage point against you.
The 3 boys step right up and go off on reward and go off to go silent to get advantages and leave us back here.
Wendell. And guess what he's doing right now? Laughing at your faces because he's getting another advantage.
All alone, and he doesn't even care that he wrecked someone else's family visit, which pisses me off.
They just get everything good.
You know, we can be ticked off at them and sad we're not with our loved ones, or we can take this opportunity to completely take control of the game.
But that's it. The data and my surprising conclusion from all of the family rewards in Survivor. And in the end, I will just say this. There are probably bigger reasons why you're going to be in trouble down the line than this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Has it changed your perception of what you might do if you are faced with this dilemma? Despite everything here, would you try to win the family reward or throw it? A big thank you to my family of patrons on the screen. I would invite each of you to Fiji if I could. Don't forget to put my name down as your loved one on the flight out, and I will see you in the next one once I win the loved ones challenge and purposefully share it with no one, just to see what happens next.
If you win there, who do you think you're gonna take?
Yeah, us 3 young guys.
Because I want to take you and Sash.
Yeah.
Just me, you, and Sash.
Oh yeah, I promise.
All right, Chase and Connie, you're gonna leave here, take a nice cruise down the coast of Nicaragua, have some nice food, make some great memories. I want you to choose somebody to come with you.
There's one person that hadn't been on reward in a long time, and that's Sash. And I believe he deserves it.
One more survivor and their loved one.
I know this is gonna hurt some people's feelings. I'm gonna take Holly.
Holly and Charlie, come on over.
Fabio, I love you, man. I'm so sorry, man.
No, man, you know I would have taken you and your mom because I know how much your mom means to you, dude.
I know, dude.
You know that.
Yeah, he made $1 million decision today.
Yeah, he made $1 million decision to lose it.
Yeah.
We'll do this later. We'll drink some champagne later to cheers the final 3.
Fabio thinks he has it, and he does. Fabio wins immunity. Fabio wins immunity. Fabio wins final immunity.
You got to see your mom on one of those rewards. Was that gasoline to boost you into, what, phase 10?
I daydreamt every single day out here what I could do for my family, and yeah, man, it got me to the end. Yeah, you know, that's just something inside of you that comes out when it's necessary. You know, love for my family. So yeah, that was my gasoline to get to the end.
We have 4 votes Chase, 4 votes Fabio, 1 vote left. The winner of Survivor Nicaragua, Fabio.